The royal ceremony of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry will take place tomorrow, Saturday, 19th of May at midday. The ceremony will be watched by Harry and Meghan's family and friends at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. It will be followed by a carriage procession and 2 receptions, including a private one at Frogmore House and grounds of the Windsor Castle. The Prince and Mrs. Markle have broken tradition by choosing to hold the wedding on a Saturday. The royal wedding usually is taking place during the week. The wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge was held on a Friday, and the wedding of the Prince of Wales and Diana, Princess of Wales, was held on a Wednesday. On both occasions, the public were given an extra bank holiday. This time, there is no need for time off, and around the country it could be watched the ceremony on TV in your living rooms, or they can be held at a pub or a bar. Listening hours be extended until 1 a.m. in the morning of Saturday morning, the day of the wedding itself. Service will take place at St. George's Chapel in the grounds of Windsor Castle, which was hosted by a royal wedding in May of 2008 when Peter Philip, son of the Princess Royal, married Autumn Kelly. Prince Edward also wed Sophie and the Countess of Wessex there in June of 1999. Prince Harry was also christened there in 1984. Members of the public who have been invited to watch from the grounds of Windsor Castle will begin to arrive at 9 a.m. Guests will arrive between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. by coach. 2 driving routes will have been suggested, with guests required to meet at the Windsor Farm Shop. There, 3 miles away from the venue, guests will go through security checks and asked to show identification. They will be ushered to 2 buses and travel to Windsor Castle, where they will alight the castle's round tower and enter the chapel through the south door. Instructions were reportedly sent by the guests to ban cameras in the bulky bags, adding for the guests to be asked to surrender mobile telephones and any devices for image capture. The ruler further specified that guests should not wear medals in the list of suggestions and accessories, and no swords. At 11:20, members of the royal family will arrive to enter the chapel through the galley porch. Some will arrive to start in the state car from the Royal Mews, including Bentleys and Royal Royces. Prince Harry and his brother, the best man of Duke of Cambridge, are expected to arrive at the chapel's west steps at 11:45. It is assumed they will enter the grounds on foot, giving Prince Harry the opportunity to walk past the crowds in the grounds. He will pass 200 representatives from charities he's associated with. The Queen will be the final member of the royal family to arrive for the services inspected at 11:55 a.m. The first service will begin at 12 p.m. with Mrs. Markle due to arrive at the chapel's west steps at 11:59. She has chosen her mother Doria to travel with her to the wedding, traveling from the overnight accommodation to George Chapel by car. When she stops at the castle, her mother will exchange places with the bridesmaids and page boys. Mrs. Ragland will enter the chapel by the galley porch. It's been confirmed that her father will not be attending the ceremony. It is stated issued through Kensington Palace. Meghan Markle said, "Sally, my father will not be attending our wedding. I have always cared for my father and hope that he can be given the space he needs to focus on his health. I would like to thank everyone who has offered a generous message, and please know that Harry and I are looking forward to sharing our special day with you on Saturday." It has been announced that Prince Charles will be walking the bride down the aisle. Mrs. Markle will walk down the first half of the St. George's Chapel aisle alone, surrounded by young page boys and bridesmaids, but without anyone by her side. At the choir, which affectionately marks the second half of the aisle, Mrs. Markle will be met by the Prince of Wales, her future father-in-law, who will take her arm for the final steps. The ceremony will omit tradition moments, giving it away. Mrs. Markle understood to have asked the Prince of Wales to accompany her after her father Thomas Markle told her that he was unable to fly to the UK. It assumes that Miss Markle has unlikely to opt to obey to the prince and will probably choose the Series 1 1966 Book of Common Prayer ceremony, just as the Duke and Duchess in Cambridge did, allows the bridge to drop the phrases "obey him" and "serve him" from the religious proceedings. Harry must decide whether or not he will wear a wedding ring. William does not wear one. The service will end at 1 p.m. The newlyweds will leave the chapel at the west steps before leaving the castle carriage. Prince Harry and Mrs. Markle will be driven by 2 miles by the Castle Hill, a high street, into the Windsor town centre before returning along the beautiful tree-lined lawn walk for their reception. Kensington Palace. Harry and Mrs. Markle are very much looking forward to a short journey which they hope will be a memorable moment to everyone who has gathered together in the Windsor to enjoy the atmosphere in this special day. The procession is expected to last 25 minutes, 10 minutes longer than the similar procession taken by Edward and Sophie in 1999. The best photo opportunity will be taken at the west steps of George Chapel, where they will emerge after the ceremony with their family and friends. The newlyweds will make their journey through the Windsor and the open-topped Ascot Landau carriage. They will be waited by members of both families and the congregation and will leave the chapel to see the newlyweds leave, before going to St. George's Hall and the lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, a touring Windsor guest from the congregation, will wait for a happy couple to St. George's Hall to celebrate the first day of the 2 receptions. This will be hosted by the Queen. It will take place during the afternoon and it will be attended by guests who were invited to the services. Invitations will be posted to 600 lucky guests. Royal sources have said that the guests have been restricted to those who have direct relationship with the couple, both because St. George Chapel is relatively small and because Prince is not direct line. From 7 p.m. the selected 200 guests and friends will attend the party hosted by the Prince of Wales of Frogmore House, Windsor, half a mile away from the Windsor Castle, the 17th century Grade A country house owned by the Crown Estate. Prince Harry and Mrs. Markle engagement photos were taken on the grounds of Frogmore House. It is expected the members of the royal family, as Markle's family and intimate friends of both newlyweds, will be in the reception, although the Princess Charlotte and Prince George will not have been put to bed after the big day in the limelight. Asked how he felt about being chosen for Prince Harry's best man, the Duke said, "It feels great. I am thrilled and delighted. Obviously, revenge is sweet. I'll be looking forward to it." Prince Harry went on to tease his brother during a none-less heartfelt best man speech at his brother's reception, allegedly wearing and mimicking love-struck conversations between a young Kate William and a ridiculously bald spot. So, tomorrow will be a big royal wedding day, and I cannot wait to see what Meghan's be wearing. I will be taking pictures and I will be making another video, and updating everybody on the whereabouts of everything and what's going on. To Harry and Meghan, I cannot wait for this royal wedding. Thank you for watching.